What if Professor X had a second brain that wanted control? In an alternate timeline, Charles Xavier was born with a rare mutation, a second brain. Nestled beside his own, it housed a separate consciousness, dormant at birth. Awakened during a moment of severe childhood trauma, the psychic shock not only triggered his telepathy, but also gave life to the second mind, a darker version of himself. It called itself Xalvar. Xalvar had Charles's intelligence, memories, and psychic abilities, but none of his restraint. Where Charles dreamed of peace between humans and mutants, Xalvar believed in conquest. At first it whispered, subtle advice in chess, retorts in arguments, combat instincts. But with every compromise Charles made, every failure, every self-doubt, Xalvar grew stronger. Charles kept it hidden from everyone. He meditated daily, building mental walls and crafting a psychic cage to imprison the second mind. But as he rose in power, forming the X-Men, constructing Cerebro, Xalvar grew with him. It fed on ambition, on fear, on the complexity of a world Charles could no longer control. Then came the confrontation with the Shadow King. During the mental battle, Charles's defenses broke. Xalvar escaped the cage, seizing control of half of Charles's consciousness, and with it, access to Cerebro. Suddenly, two minds existed in one body, each fighting for dominance. Outwardly, Charles seemed unchanged, but those closest to him noticed the shift. He became colder, more decisive. His strategies turned ruthless. He suggested wiping the minds of anti-mutant politicians, preemptive psychic strikes on governments, even manipulating elections. Some X-Men thought he'd grown tougher with age. But Jean Grey and Storm sensed something deeper, something dangerous. When Jean tried to read his mind, she was violently repelled. The final straw came when Xalvar used Cerebro to try and enslave a nation's leadership, forcing them to declare mutants the dominant species. Charles resisted. A mental war erupted inside him. His body fell into a coma. But inside, a storm of psychic force threatened to tear him apart. It wasn't strength that saved him. It was empathy. Charles saw that Xalvar wasn't pure evil. It was fear, twisted by repression. A voice created to protect him in a cruel world. Instead of destroying it, Charles embraced it. He merged with Xalvar, absorbing its drive, its courage, its willingness to act, but filtered through his own compassion. He woke up changed, not broken, not possessed, just evolved, stronger, sharper, less naive. From that day on, no one could be certain which Charles Xavier they were speaking to. The teacher? The general? The liberator? Or the shadow that once waited in silence? And perhaps that uncertainty made him more powerful than ever before.